I welcome everyone. It's been a while since we've met. It's been quite a year so far, but I know September was extraordinary with the International Day of Peace, and we've been busy with the Chicago City of Peace, as well as our programs. The election has brought a new energy and an interesting energy to this country, a revitalization of direction regarding where we are going and where we need to go. So I look forward to this discussion today. And I'm going to turn this over to Jennifer Kim, co-chair of the Education Peace Team, and I will take it following Jennifer. So Jennifer, welcome, and as well, welcome all to the Education Peace Team.
Thank you, George, and thank you everyone for joining us, and all of you who will be joining us later by watching the recording. This is our first post-Peace Day meeting, and so we have a lot to talk about today about what people accomplished this year and are looking forward to toward next year. We usually start with a little bit of peace breathing together, so we'll take the time to take some slow, deep breaths as we inhale world and exhale peace. Inhale world, exhale peace. Inhale world, exhale peace. Thank you all. And if you haven't found it, if you're on a computer, if you kind of roll your cursor around, you'll see in the bottom corner of your screen there's a mute, little mute button, and if you click it and a red line goes through, that means you're muted, and then we won't have so much noise on the line. We like to start with great support to the Education Peace Team, our advisor, Maver. I'd like to give you a chance now to share your message with us.
Thank you, Jennifer and George. You know, regardless of what is happening in this world, you always make me mindful that joy is a special wisdom. Thank you. In the words of Elise Boulding, a culture of peace is a culture that promotes peaceable diversity, involving constant shaping and reshaping of understandings, situations, and behaviors to sustain well-being for all. Another peace educator, Betty Reardon, the general purpose of peace education, as I understand it, is to promote the development of authentic planetary consciousness that will enable us to function as global citizens and to transform the present human condition by changing social structures and the patterns of thought that have created it. This transformational imperative must be at the center of peace education. So as we gather today on this Education Peace Team call, we are in serious transition in the space between the old story, all systems break down, and the new story, all systems break through. Let's take just a moment and connect with one another once again and unite our hearts across distance. And let us remember some of the basics as we consider the significance of peace education at the heart of the new story. We are not separate from one another, regardless of our political, religious, cultural, or sexual orientation leanings. We are, in fact, essentially one human race. And let us remember that energy follows thought. We are what we think we are, and we will consistently get more of whatever we focus upon and pay attention to in life. Let us remember, our work in the field of peace education has demonstrated over and over again the power of the essence of education, educare, to draw forth, to lead out the value, the talents, the strengths, the wisdom, the essential goodness of every individual, that we might express and demonstrate the very definition of peace, living in harmonious relationship with self, others, and all life. So let us not be disheartened, carpe diem, Rather, let us seize this welcome, challenging, and yes, potentially dangerous opportunity on this beautiful planet we all call home, as all of us are faced with the same basic questions. What is the new story? What does it look like? What is my role in the new story? Dag Hammarskjöld, Second Secretary General of the United Nations, said this: "The pursuit of peace and progress cannot end in a few years in either victory or defeat. The pursuit of peace and progress, with its trials and its errors, its successes and its setbacks, can never be relaxed and never abandoned." Peace education gives me hope right now, and I submit that peace education is central to the emerging new story. Let us keep on keeping on, and may the spirit of peace be spread abroad in our hearts, through our groups, and throughout the world.
Thank you, Dot. Thank you so much. I'm really heartened to have your message and your presence here with us today, and also to know that so many others will be hearing your voice as we send this out to this massive team across the world. So thank you so much. I'm not sure if Anne Louise has made it to the call yet. Anne Louise,
I have made it.
Yay!
Yes.
Welcome, Anne Louise.
Hi,
Anne
Jennifer.
Louise, welcome. Anne Louise with the U.S. Institute of Peace is here to share with us about the Peace Day Challenge this year and all the great work they've done and accomplished for the International Day of Peace. Anne Louise, it's all over to you.
Thank you, Jennifer. Thank you, George, and thank you, Dot. It is really inspiring to follow those words from you. Hi, everybody. I'm Anne Louise Colgan. I run the public education program at the U.S. Institute of Peace based in Washington, D.C. I hope that most of you know us. We've been around since 1984, and it's our mission to help the U.S. deal with conflicts around the world through nonviolent means. And so we work directly in conflict zones, and we provide analysis, education, and resources to those who are working for peace. And so a lot of our work takes place in places like Iraq and Afghanistan and elsewhere. And my program's work is domestic in the sense that we work to engage the American people and to educate students and teachers and others in the fact that peace is something practical. It's something that can be learned about, skills that can be gained, and then there are opportunities to really get engaged in this effort. So a year ago, as part of marking our 30th anniversary year, we created the Peace Day Challenge with the idea of raising the profile of the International Day of Peace and turning it into a day of action. And again, the idea being that peace is something practical, peace takes action. And so in order to mark the Day of Peace, we should do something for peace. And then share that on social media using the hashtag Peace Day Challenge. And I came on a call with you all maybe a little over a year ago before that last Peace Day to talk to you a bit about the Peace Day Challenge. And so many of you were already, of course, engaged in work around the International Day of Peace. And so we very much welcomed your participation as part of this umbrella that we were framing. Last year, we reached 21 million people in 129 countries, and we had activities in dozens of states and dozens of countries. And again, thank you for your great support. And so this year, we sought to go even further, to expand our outreach, to re-engage with those who had engaged a year ago, and to find new audiences that we had not yet reached. And so we set some pretty ambitious goals for ourselves, did a lot of outreach over the summer, worked with a number of you, worked in different communities across the US, and worked with our partners with whom we work every day in conflict zones around the world. And so I'm delighted to say that this year we more than tripled our social reach. We reached 83 million people in 148 countries with a message that it was the Day of Peace and that they were doing something for peace on the day. And we dramatically increased the number of US states in which we recorded activities. And what I think really matters about this is we are seeing again this year, and I know you all see it in your work also, this kind of building of momentum, providing opportunities for people to get involved when and so I think opportunities like Peace Day provide a really important hook for public engagement work for reaching new audiences, for helping young people find ways to get involved, helping educators find ways to bring peace to life in their classrooms. And of course, that's only one day. And so what is very important to us at the U.S. Institute of Peace and for those with whom we work is that this work sustains beyond the day. And I think Dot has just been speaking to that also. So there's just three quick things I wanted to emphasize and share with you on this call as ways in which USIP sustains the Peace Day Challenge year round. So the first is that we have an increasing number of really terrific online educational resources for students and for teachers. And you can find those on our website, usip.org. We have another website for students and teachers, buildingpeace.org, which will soon be integrated into the main USIP site. But we have curriculum, we have lessons, we have really creative opportunities for teachers and for students to learn about key concepts and skills in peace building. So that's one thing. Second thing is we offer initiatives for students and teachers who want to go a little bit deeper. And so, for example, we run an essay contest now in partnership with the American Foreign Service Association. So there has been a focus in their contest for many years on diplomacy, and we are bringing a peace building lens to that. And so this is a wonderful opportunity for any high school students in your lives to submit an essay, and the winner gets to come to Washington, D.C., meet the Secretary of State, and come to visit with us at USIP. Many students and teachers across the country take part in National History Day every year, which is a contest that enables students to focus on a particular theme in history and write an essay or produce a documentary or make a website. And USIP now offers the Global Peace Prize for any history projects that focus on peace. And we hear so often from students and teachers that they end up teaching the history of war, or that's the dominant lens or the dominant narrative. And so we want to help elevate the stories of peace and peace builders and peace movements through history. So this is the second year that we're offering the Global Peace Prize. So again, if you have students or teachers who are involved in History Day or are interested in historical themes, please help spread the word and let them know that this exists as a possibility. And then finally, as I said at the beginning, my program works across the country, not just with students and teachers, but with communities and organizations who are interested in being involved in learning and action on peace around the world. And so if you are interested in connecting with us, please reach out to me. We sometimes travel to different places across the country. We can do virtual programs via Skype, but I would really love any opportunities to meet with the rest of you on this call whom I have not yet met, and to extend to you USIP's resources and information and any other ways that we can help support you in your work. So thanks again to Jennifer and to George. And just one quick final word. One of the highlights of Peace Day for me this year was that I got to go to Chicago at the end of the week of Peace Day and be present with Jennifer and with so many other wonderful friends in Chicago for the culmination of your 3 weeks of Peace Day celebrations and Peace Day activities. So thank you again to Jennifer for the amazing work that you do in putting on these events every year and in sustaining that throughout the year. I was very honored to be there, and it meant a lot to USIP to be included. So thank you.
Thank you, Anne-Louise. And what a pleasure having you in Chicago. That was an honor for us that you traveled from DC to be with us for our Peace Day celebration. I'm so excited to have you share with everyone about all the wonderful resources that you have that are available year-round. Before we go on, I want to see if anyone has questions here for Anne-Louise. If you're on mute, you can unmute yourself and then give us a question.
Can you share the contact information for those who will be listening to this now and afterwards? And thank you for the work that you're doing.
Oh, absolutely. And so you can reach me. I'm happy to give my personal email. My work email is acolgan, that's ACOLGAN, at usip.org. And then you can also find us online at www.usip.org. So feel free to reach out, and I'm happy to answer any questions and would love to explore ways that we might be helpful to you.
Beautiful. Thank you.
And hi, it's George Anthony. And I actually spent 2 weeks there in one summer working with the USIP. It used to be a program that USIP ran for teachers, where teachers can spend a week or two with the USIP, working with you, building programs. Does that program still exist?
So thank you for the question, George. It doesn't exist in the same form, but we have expanded our work with teachers in other ways. And so we have a full curriculum now, our Peace Building Toolkit for Educators, and we do on-site programs for teachers, and we do virtual trainings. So that specific program doesn't exist, but there are actually additional ways in which we're working with middle school and high school teachers across the country. So if you're interested, please follow up with me, and I can connect you with the person from my team who leads that work.
Oh, well, thank you. It was one of actually the greatest weeks of my life. So
excellent. We've heard that from a number of people, and we've been able to continue some of those relationships through these new initiatives as well. So thank you.
Very good. Thank you.
Anyone else with questions for Anne-Louise? Okay, well, thank you again, Anne-Louise. We are just so grateful to you for taking time. We know how busy you are every single day. So thank you for being with us.
Thank you so much.
You are so welcome. Next, we'd like to introduce Patricia Sempowich. David Wick from Pathways to Peace and the Ashland Culture of Peace Commission was planning to be here but was not able to, but we're so lucky to have Patricia with us, who leads the peace education team for the commission. So Patricia, I'll give you the floor. You can unmute yourself, and we look forward to hearing from you.
David Wick and two other people started an organization in Ashland called the Ashland Culture of Peace Commission. And it's separate from the city, but it has a proclamation from the city. And the 8 sectors of the Peace Wheel sort of represent areas of concentration that the Peace Commission focuses on. And we have gotten an interface with the Ashland School District, whereby we will sponsor activities for students. And so Anne-Louise's information was very vital to me, because I will contact her and examine and explore more thoroughly exactly the content of these organizations, or these resources. Ashland is a rather unique community. There's a lot of support from the parents and the schools. And there is a program called Mind Up that is a type of education that is very active in the Ashland schools. So we're very fortunate to have that connection with the schools. For International Day of Peace, we had activities for the elementary school children, where they came to a site, and we had yoga, Native American storytelling, and an appreciation circle. We had 45 children come through each of those centers for a period of 20 minutes. And it was a very successful activity. And we look forward to doing other such activities. We also had a poster contest for the elementary children, whereby they made peace posters, and we had special recognition for certain ones that were particularly captivating. And our thrust now is to provide some activities for the middle and high school students in the spring term. So that's about as much as I can say about the Ashland Culture of Peace Commission. But keep tuned, because there's a lot in the future that we're planning. And thank you so much for this opportunity to talk about us.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much, Patricia. I'd like to share also with everyone, if you have a question for Patricia or about the work going on in Ashland, this is a good opportunity for you. You can unmute yourself now, and I'll give a moment here for that.
So Patricia, thank you to you and everyone on the commission there in Ashland. This comprehensive approach is very inspiring. And I know that there's an article that gets published every few weeks in the local paper that people could check in if they want. If you want to just name the paper for us. And
yeah, it's the Ashland Daily Tidings, and it's published. The particular article that you're referring to is published on, I think, the third Monday of each month, and we have a commission editor by the name of Bob Morse who guides that project. And I'll be happy to have any of that sent to you if you'd like that.
yeah, thank you. Well, Jennifer, I see that you're putting it out there in chat. I think it's important for folks, not just in this country either. You're setting a great demonstration model there in Ashland. So how we can learn more about it is really my question. So
yeah, good. Well, we'll see that happens.
Thank you, Dot. Anyone else? Okay, I want to thank you again, and really I want to ring in with what Dot just said, how this is a great sample for all of us around the world. This actual commission within the city of Ashland is so important for all of us to model after, so thank you. Thank you for your great work. I'd like to now turn ourselves back over to Jules Lamore, who is the one who helps us organize the technology for all of our meetings, which we are so grateful for every single time. But Jules has plenty to say about this wonderful activity that she's been involved with now for quite a while, the World Peace Youth group. And so, Jules, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you, Jennifer. Thank you, George. Thank you, everybody. Well, you wouldn't know. Some of you might know. I work with Fumi John Stewart at the World Peace Prayer Society, and I run Peace Pals International. And those are the little kids, age 5 through 16, education through the arts. And I had always imagined that we were missing this really incredible opportunity with the youth 16 to 24, 26. Around the world, that these young people have these incredible voices that need to be heard, but they need to be heard in a way that's not hindered by adults. And to create a platform, and this is 10 years of going back and forth with Fumi, to create a platform that would enable youth to come together, create roundtable discussions, and discuss anything that they want to talk about, and have it as a live webinar in a live format. Carlos Palma of Living Peace and I joined together. Last year, I called him up and I said, come on, Carlos, let's do this. And I wish he was here, but it's really late where he is. And we did. We had our launch. I'm just going to share with you just some PDFs. Quickly, we had our launch. Hold on 1 second. Let me see if you can see it. Can you see it? Are you able to see my PDF?
Yes.
No?
Yes, Jules, it's up.
Okay. So these are the images of the first group of young people that spoke, and we spoke about the Fuji Declaration, which is a project out of Japan, founded with Grace Masami Sensei, Masami Seonji, Hiru Seonji, and Irvin Laszlo. So our first proposal was for the youth to come together, talk about what the Fuji Declaration meant to them and how they could possibly incorporate it in their lives. It was incredible. It was a 2-hour discussion. It went on and on and on, and we had great response. I'm gonna show you a video in a few seconds. So here are all the faces that we've had since the beginning of all the different youth panelists and moderators from the beginning. Incredible. I'm sure many of you recognize Asma. She was with us, and more. And then, of course, the World Peace Prayer Society, Peace Pals International, myself, and Carlos Palma, and our supporting organizations. I see Jennifer's organization there. I would love it if any of you would like to support us, and I think you'll understand why in a moment when I share this with you. So the event on our first was 2 hours, but our last couple minutes we were all in the back room together, and Sharouk Dawood from Syria was, you know, of course, talking about what it's like in Syria. So I'm going to play this just so you can just get an idea of how important and impactful this is.
Jules, I'm not getting audio.
Okay, I'm going to tell you right now, how do I unshare my screen? And my screen is not unsharing. Can anybody get my screen to unshare? Oh my God. Really? Hold on 1 second. There we go. And now I'm having a problem. It's not unsharing. George, would you do me a favor and kick me out of the room and I'll come back in? George? George, can anybody hear me?
Yeah, I hear you, Jules. I think he hears you, but he's muted. It looks like he...
Jules, I'm going to remove you right now.
Remove me. I'm going to come back in. I really want you to see this video, so if you'll give me 3 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Oh, wait a minute. I'm here. Don't remove me. I'm here. I think. Maybe not. Yeah, remove me, please. Thank you.
What if I make you the host? Would that help or not help?
No. For whatever reason, my display is not showing any longer for some very odd reason. Oh, here we go. I got it. My apologies. I apologize. I'm going to just share it one more time now, because I do think it's really important that you witness this experience that these young people have shared. Thank you for bearing with me, everybody. And I'm supposed to be the expert on this? Oh, yeah. Okay. Tell me if you can hear now, please.
I want to thank Sharouk. I hope one day we'll meet everyone. Yes. And okay.
Yeah, I just want to tell Sharouk something. Believe that everything has an end, and the civil war in Syria is going to end. Like the Lebanese civil war, like every civil war in history has an end. The Syrian civil war will have an end, and very soon you will be pleased with peace in Syria, inshallah.
Inshallah.
Thank you, Sharouk.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sharouk.
Stay strong, Sharouk. Please don't cry, please. Together we're stronger.
We're all here with you.
Bye.
Thank you so much. I'm sorry.
Oh.
Bye.
Bye, Sharouk.
Goodbye.
Salamu alaikum.
Thank you.
Okay, so this is powerful, and you know, this is not what was this is obviously in the back room. The webinar is over, and we're just saying goodbye now. And what this did was it brought together these young people. You know, for instance, Omar Abu Bakar, who was the young Egyptian man in the lower right-hand corner. He actually was just at the World Peace Forum and was presented with the Luxembourg Peace Prize. And he's experienced civil war, so he was able to share, you know, his experience with her. So programs like this are so important, and they're so essential to our youth And, you know, hopefully to our adults out there who are listening and watching, who don't have a grasp of what it's like for these young people, because they're not given an opportunity to speak. So World Peace Youth is that opportunity, and I send out invitations. I don't know if you have the opportunity. I pretty much just handed it over now to the youth. The goal was youth for youth. They're going to be having their meetings without me and Carlos, without Carlos and I rather, and they're going to be running the show. So I'll be in the background running the technical part for them, but they're going to be doing this, and it would be amazing if you could show your support by showing up. It'll be 3 or 4 times a year. But these young people are pretty special. And I had the opportunity for my Peace Day to go to the World Peace Forum in Florianópolis, Brazil, and present World Peace Youth, Peace Pals, and give the mayor a peace poll, which was incredible. And next year for Peace Day, it will be in Jordan. And that was actually conceived on one of our webinars. And it will be in Jordan, and it will be working at a refugee camp. And that will be how Peace Day will be spent, and the king is sponsoring it. Doesn't get any better than that. So I really invite you all, collaborate with us, work with us. We want to work with you. And I'll put you in touch with the youth, because this is their project. That's it. I'm done. Thank you.
Thank you, Jules. Incredible.
Thank you.
Incredible. And that's worldpeaceyouth.org, correct?
Yes. Yes.
worldpeaceyouth.org. Let's all, if we're not already aware of it, on it, looking at it, I think everyone here will be interested in doing so. Very moving. This thread running through the whole meeting today is how we're all in it together. You saw it on the youth's faces. Here we are. All of us, we've got to, it's time to come together. So thank you, Jules, for that beautiful reminder. And let's all look out for worldpeaceyouth.org. Thank you.
Yes, I just like to add too. Thank you, Jules, for showing us that. Thank you, Jules, for sharing that. Their voices resonated through the screen, right into our souls. That spoke before about energy. That energy that we just saw, that is hope. That energy that we saw, the voices that are moving, each one of them to something greater. It's not. It's like, yeah, if my reality is this, it doesn't mean it's going to be that. And I know one thing with youth. Youth is so resilient. They always believe. They always have hope. You can't take away that hope. You can't. You could try, but youth are beautiful. They have that dream. They have that passion, that vision. We saw it with the Arab Spring. We saw it in China and Tiananmen Square. We're seeing it now, and we're going to see it again here in the States. We're sort of getting an idea of it right now. We're starting to get that passion back out into the streets. But yes, Syria is I'm so saddened by Syria, because it was a beautiful nation, and it's going to have to rebuild at some level. And it's going to be through the youth and through their passion, because they still believe. And what we do and we continue to do is support them in that belief, because that's what we can do.
And we have to listen to them.
Yeah.
You know, we can't just hear their words. We have to really listen, because we can learn so much from them.
Right. What you're doing, though, what you're doing with this program is giving them this one resource where your words matter, your hope matters. So thank you for this wonderful resource
Thank you for introducing us to Brandon Perdomo.
Yeah, he's one of my soul brothers, soul son.
You know, if it wasn't, for this group and meeting George, I would not have met Brandon, and Brandon was our first moderator for World Peace Youth. I sent George an email, help, we need a moderator. He put us in touch with Brandon. Brandon became my moderator, and then I introduced him to Fumi, and Deborah Modell, and now Brandon is our World Peace Prayer Society UN Youth Rep. So the possibilities are endless. It's just incredible. And he's doing an amazing job.
Yeah, and Brandon was also a product of our program, which is we're building here now at Modern Day Prep. So I'm looking forward to having my students talk a little bit about what they're doing. So but Brandon is a beautiful spiritual individual, and he's in good company. And thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, George, and again, thank you, Jules. Anyone else have questions or thoughts or comments for Jules while we have a moment? You can unmute yourself.
This is Avon. Jules and everyone who's already spoken, I just want to honor the fact that the Education Peace Team is modeling what is so important, which is peace through cooperative, co-creative ability to focus on peace education at all levels. And Jules, what I'm so impressed with what you have done with Peace Pals International, you and Fumi, and then with this new program, is that you are not giving them an opportunity to speak and that's the end of it, but you are allowing them to become and emerge as the peace leaders that they already are, and giving them the support, the connections, and the continuity of intergenerational peace education, which is so deeply important. And this is how, at all levels and in all our diverse pathways, we together build a culture of peace for the benefit of all. And thank you to everyone who's been part of this, who's already been presenting, and just thank you.
Thank you, Avon.
Thank you so much, Avon.
Yes.
We're so happy to have you here with us. Those of you who I think you're calling by phone. So Avon Madison from Pathways to Peace, one of the very, very fundamental founders of the UN International Day of Peace. We're so honored to have you here with us today, and so grateful to be carrying on this work together with you. Thank you for being with us.
Well, you can tell I'm a little inarticulate because I am so in awe with all that's been presented, and just send a great bow to everyone.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Do we have any others who'd like to ask a question to Jules or share a message?
Yeah, I just have, this is Dot, just one other comment, and Avon, wonderful to hear your voice on this webinar. And as our hearts unite across distance. And Jules, thank you. Just heartfelt gratitude. That's what, every time I have been with you on a webinar or in any which way, that's what comes through, is this tremendous heart energy. And so gratitude for that. And that my question is this: if we go to the website, and if you could repeat it one more time, if we go to the website, will it be clear how a youth can get involved, and how, for example, a group that I might be involved with can support?
We have a Facebook page, and what I'll do is, I think that George and Jennifer send out a follow-up email, and I'll put in some information because you do that, right, Jennifer and George? The follow-up, from what I remember with emails.
Yes.
I'm in contact with you on email as well. I'll send you information. The young people are now starting their committees, and who's going to be in charge of marketing and who's going to be in charge of the web. And it's kind of exciting. They're very excited. So we'll have an outreach person and somebody to answer emails. But yeah, the possibilities are endless because we have this technology. And, I'll say it again, and I'll say it 1,000 times. Thank you, Fumi. Thank you, Fumi. Thank you, Fumi, for supplying us with this, with this service, and that Education Peace Team is using as well, and other organizations for their webinars. Mm. So, and we would love more peace organizations to support us, and not just support us with their name, but to really support us as we can support you, because this is collaboration.
Yeah,
that's it. We're not working alone anymore.
Yeah, thank you. And so it's worldpeaceyouth.org, correct?
Yes. No, thank you so much. Okay, I'm going to mute myself because I'm going to cry.
Thank you, Jules. And thank you, everyone. Thank you, Dot. Really fantastic. Thank you. Now, Burrell, did you make it on the call? Burrell Poe, are you with us? You can. It sounds like perhaps Burrell is not here, so.
Do you know his number, Jennifer, by chance?
Let's see. Let me see if I've got it right here. One sec.
All of the speakers are muted, George, so you're going to have to unmute.
I'm doing, yeah, that's why I'm trying to look for it.
I don't have his number in front of me. I do not.
What is the area code for Chicago?
Either 773 or 312, but he might have a different.
I'm showing New Jersey, and Avon. I'm not showing Chicago.
I have a feeling he didn't make the call, which I'm sorry to say, because I really was hoping all of you could meet him. Burrell is a young, active guy here in the city of Chicago that we just met prior to Peace Day this year. He's with an organization called Compassion It. And I don't know how many of you may have heard of this group, but he's now leading the Chicago initiative of Compassion It. And one of the great things they do, which they offered on Peace Day down at our big celebration, is they have a very simple bracelet. And sorry, I don't have it on right now, but the bracelet is different colors on each side. It's one of those, you know, you can easily flip it back and forth. And the idea is each day, when you do an act of compassion, you flip the bracelet so that you have this little reminder of taking action for compassion every single day. And so they passed out these compassionate bracelets to nearly 1,000 people down in Daly Plaza on Peace Day, and also did activities in 4 different neighborhoods in the city of Chicago with youth, bringing people together for very in-depth discussions on community peace building. So this is a young organization, I believe. It's young here in Chicago, but we're really looking forward to working more closely with Compassion It. And I'll be sure to send out with our recording some info where you can get information about them, because I think they're people you'll all want to know. And I'm sorry you couldn't meet Burrell. He's really a treasure. So glad I could speak for him for just a moment. But now I think what we'll do, I'm going to turn it back over to George, because I think you may want to make the introduction for our Emerging Global Leaders Institute. So George, back to you.
Thank you, Jennifer. One of the things I know working with peace leaders such as Dot Maver and as of course Jules Lamore, is that we are all of us, as well as Sue, I know Sue's on the call as well, we're passionate believers that you can't predict the future, but we can teach our children and our students how to create it. And it's created through the skill level that we can introduce to them and then give them the opportunities to build. And what we're asking them to build is essentially safer and better communities. That is the key. So 30 years I spent in New York building programs. I'm in New Jersey now, working in a wonderful school called Modern Day Prep, and we introduced a program called Emerging Global Leaders because it's based on the premise that our world is so global, our world is so diverse, and our young people are in the world, and of course they are powerful voices in the world, and they will play a role in building our future world. Today, it starts today with them. So what I did was this. I'm going to just try to go to share screen.
Hi, Avon. It's Donna returning your voicemail message. Today, the 16th day.
All right. So we've partnered with one of our full organizations. One of those organizations is Pathways to Peace, and Avon is such a wonderful, powerful voice and pioneer in this world. This is what we're doing here. I'm going to post it, and I can send it to you. It's the Institute for Emerging Leadership. And what we do is we train them in global skills, leadership skills, life skills, negotiation skills, global perspectives. And then, of course, they're certified. And then we're building bridge programs. We're building bridge programs with elementary schools, with middle schools, and with colleges. So it's a sequential type of program, so the training goes forward. So I'm going to turn this over to Caitlin Grano and my other students who are in the process of being trained right now. And they are amazing young voices going forward in the world, creating the positive change. And all I can do at this point is to teach them and support them. So Kate, I'm going to turn this over to you. And let me see if I can unmute. You can unmute yourself and go ahead.
Hello. Hello.
You're on.
So basically, what we were doing here at Modern Day is using the Emerging Global Leadership Institute, and basically we go to the UN and listen to the amazing and inspiring leaders and take what we hear and bring it back to the classroom. So it's a living laboratory and allows the students to basically take the knowledge that we learn from different conferences, from global briefings on global warming to the International Day of Peace, and using that and applying it to what we're learning in class. So we're being taught negotiation, mediation, and taking action. So we attended a number of conferences at the UN, and this helps us to not only realize what's been going on in what's going on in our community, but also to see what's going on around the world. So it helps us to see like what other people are doing to take action, and what people are doing all around the world, and what else we can do to make what we're doing better.
In the classroom, we do a lot of different things. Like the first thing that we learned was how to make people feel valued, and it's as simple as just telling them your name. And it's important that people feel valued and important, and that's just one of the things that we did. And then what we're focusing on right now is mediation and the mediation process. And there's only 5 steps, and it's like breaking it down into a really simple way, so that even like once we finish this training, we can teach others how to mediate and solve conflicts and solve them in a peaceful and nonviolent way. Okay.
Thank you.
George, I think you're trying to take us through another piece here. Am I right?
So in the meantime, can we comment, Jennifer?
Please, great idea. Please, Dot.
So Caitlin and Sophia, on behalf of myself and all of us at the National Peace Academy, thank you for what you're doing. And would love, if there's any kind of write-up on this, or you want to give us some way to put this word out as well, and would love to have, maybe it's through George, but have contact info for those of us who are sometimes asked for a recommendation for a youth to speak on a panel or to present work or whatever. Thank you. You give me hope today. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dot. George, are we hearing from more students, or are we ready to open it up for other questions and comments? I think you might be muted.
All right. Cici, I think, wants to address the group very quickly. Cici is an exchange student from China and also one of the students going through the training. Go ahead, Cici.
Hello, I'm Cici. I'm the international. Hello. Hi, I'm the international student from China, and the first time seeing that class, I'm like really excited that I can have a chance to practice my leadership skill and communication skill. And I want to talk about some like experience, like how I get influence from this class. I used to be very shy to talk in front of people, and in this class we learn like we have lots of practice in front of people, like how to deal with the conflict, how to help others solve the conflict, and for me like the more I practice, the more I'm confident, and to solve the conflict. I remember there's one time I traveled like to New York with friends, and then I actually met some conflict there, and I don't know how to solve the conflict at that time. I'm just very nervous and just standing there. I don't know to say, like I don't know what to say. And then now like I really appreciate I have the chance to like learn how to solve it there. And I think next time if I miss some situation like this, then I will solve it very good. And then yes, actually I'm very appreciate like the videos that you show us like during the screen. Last like there's a girl crying there. I see that one. I'm like is she experienced the war before? Like oh okay. We live in a like very peaceful society. It's hard to imagine some the girls who like experience the war. I think the first time I actually get into some specific things in the war is I read a book called A Thousand Splendid Sun. It's telling us something like Afghanistan, the war in the Afghanistan, and it's really sad to see what they experience there. And if I have a chance, then I will really happy to help them to make their life better. And thank you. That's it.
So beautiful. Thank you, Cici. Thank you, all the students. Really great having your voices here with us.
Thank you. And we just won an award to receive a technology grant called Mediascape. And I'm just going to give it over to Joe very briefly. Joe, just if you could just tell us a little bit about what this is.
Hi, I'm Joey. Mediascape is basically a program where we can do a meeting much like this one now and make it interactive with live broadcasts, allowing people viewing to chat with us. If we ever had a need, we could even survey them for something. And a major part is we could get a message out via social media through links and other connections with this program. It also allows us to organize any files, and our meetings are all automatically recorded, and it allows us to have a very organized way to run this program. And so yeah.
Yeah, it's essentially we can do project development with other organizations around the world with our laptops. We all go to one central location, which is the Mediascape, and we can all work together, developing projects and programs together right in that one area. So we can work with, let's say, Carlos, or we can work with Jules in another country, and students can all work as a group on one project, and all the computers will be interconnected through the Mediascape program. We're excited to see where that technology will take us in the next year, and that's something we'll be working on here at the Emerging Global Leaders Program here at Mater Dei Prep. So, any questions?
Remember to unmute yourself if you have a question.
I feel like celebrating myself. So it's more of a congratulations than a question, but my question is this. If and when then you do one of those webinars, will you be able to send out to us so that we can somehow participate or use our own social media connections to get the word out? It's fantastic what you're doing. Thank you.
Thanks, Dot. Yes, we're going to start with the project development. Right now, the students are still in the process of training or train the trainers, as we all well know, to send them into the community so they can do anti-violence, nonviolence, and effective leadership. So that's at this point. But we will be entering the global perspective component of the workshop, of the classroom, where we can start doing project development. And that's, of course, we'll be tying into you, we'll be tying into Jules, tying into Sue, where our students here can start working with other students in other areas and make that amazing connection. So it's all about skill building and giving them the tools to build and taking a step back and letting them do what we know they are capable of doing. And we've had that experience for years. So they are extraordinary young leaders. They're our future.
My name is Kate Toland, and I came to the UN with Nina Meyerhoff with students, and I just wanted to say the same thing. That's super inspirational, the work that you're doing to the students and to you, and I just wanted to do the same thing. Celebrate, congratulate, that's awesome.
Thank you, Kate.
Thank you. And I'll post some of the information on this site, and if anybody has any questions, I'll send you the outline and the abstract of how we're doing it and the process in which we're doing it. So it's just covering a successful model that we've been following for the past 20 years and putting it forward and creating that change. The important part is to keep them involved in the communities on a global level as well as a local level. That's why we're working with the elementary schools, the middle schools, and the colleges as well, bringing all these resources together, giving these students every opportunity to create that change and to be a part of that change. All right, so that's our format. I'm going to turn it back over to the group because I know Sue's on board. I'm sure she has something to say. I'd love to hear what she has to say. Thank you.
I don't see Sue. Sue? Okay. So, George, I would love to talk to you at some point on how we can get your youth together with some of our youth, because that would be really awesome. You know, I'm finding that we don't have a lot of American youth.
Yes.
I have youth all over the world, but not really in America.
We'll get them in.
Good.
We'll have a good conversation. All right.
Good. I think we lost Sue, by the way.
I think we did.
Yeah.
Well, we are coming on the ending time of our time together here. It's getting close. So I wanted to first, there's a couple of people that always stay in touch with us, with George and myself, who are in other parts of the world that usually cannot join our meetings. But they always are very enthusiastic about every recording that goes out, every email that goes out. And I just want to recognize them and say a couple words about what they've been up to. We have Dr. Chintamani Yogi with the Peace Service Center in Nepal. We hear from him all the time. Just tremendous. And they do work year-round, of course, for peace and peace building. For Peace Day this year, they did cultural events to bring children together from different backgrounds and have them do exchanges of culture. They did value-based education, workshops for children, did nonviolence communication training for teachers and for older students. So that's just a part of what they do, but we really are grateful for their participation in our group, because even though it's always a bad time for them when we hold our meetings. They're definitely part of this circle. And then we also have Maria Ying Matthews in Hong Kong with the Peace International Foundation. And they also have been very active with the International Day of Peace for many, many years. This year they put the focus on really promoting the Sustainable Development Goals, getting that message out about what the goals are and how especially youth can incorporate these goals into their day-to-day living. So we want to say thank you to Maria, thank you to Dr. Chintamani Yogi. We appreciate all that you do in other corners of the world along with us, and yes, we are definitely all one. And I had, since we have about a minute here, I wanted to just share really quickly a little bit about our Peace Day in Chicago. Share screen. Yes. So just to give you a little visual of our Peace Day this year, Daley Plaza is a main downtown venue. We worked hard to get a lot more student groups down with us, and we ourselves had to do a lot of fundraising for buses to get schools down to Peace Day, but had some good success. Had a Jane Goodall Dove down there, and had a very good crowd this year. This picture on the bottom, we got to hear Anne Louise's lovely voice, but you didn't get to see her lovely face. And you can see her on the left here in the dark suit. That's Anne Louise Colgan. The woman next to her is with Mothers Against Senseless Killings and other organizations like that. She's a mom who lost her son to gun violence. The head of the Commission on Human Relations, a woman from the Department of Human Rights. So these were some of the speakers this year. We have great support from the Consular Corps, over 50 consulates represented, and we do the World Peace Flag Ceremony. We made it a point to have the police officers as part of our ceremony, along with youth and with cultural representatives. And so the ceremony is always a beautiful part of it. And then we also ended with that Sustainable Development Goals wrap. I don't know if all of you remember getting that link. It's still out there, I think, on the website of the UN. But we had some local rappers that performed it, but also all the schools that attended Peace Day, we do a workshop for them prior to, and we had them learn this rap, and so we had people all over the plaza joining in on 17 Sustainable Development Goals. It was very, very cool. So that's just a taste of what we did in Chicago, beyond providing materials to every school in Chicago public school system to try to engage in some type of peace building activity. So I see we're a couple minutes after 2. I guess we're done with our ability to speak with each other right now, but this communication is wide open. You can always get in touch with George and myself if you're trying to reach others within the group. And let's end with some peace breathing together. Let's breathe. Inhale, world. Exhale, peace. Inhale, world. Exhale, peace. Inhale, world. Exhale, peace. Now, this gets kind of noisy, but we usually try to unmute all of ourselves and say together, may peace prevail on earth. So let's try that now. May peace prevail on earth. Thank you, everyone. Thank you,
Jennifer.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Keep meeting.